Hi everybody, in this video we're going to compare Beach and Clair Obscur Expedition 33 versus Death Stranding 2 in various categories, and I'm going to share, of course, this is my opinion. You might, of course, will differ. Let's just begin. In terms for hyper anticipation, definitely it goes to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I think the marketing was actually good. This really got me hype. I think there was significant, again, marketing from Kepler Interactive, but of course smaller scale than Death Stranding 2. But it relies, I think, more on critical buzz and word of mouth, and I think actually that's what helped even the game rise up in terms of concurrent players once people realize how good this game actually is. It looks different, it felt different, the kind of story of a small studio bringing something really special really sold it eventually. Of course, we can compare it to Death Stranding. It has a massive global marketing campaign, but because I played the first one and was actually bored with it, yeah. But little I know what I was missing, but I gave, of course, another chance to Death Stranding 2. And from that point on, things changed. So again, when it comes to hype, Expedition 33 hands down. Now, in terms of art style, both of them are very different. One, Death Stranding 2 is kind of hyper-realistic, cinematic, kind of surreal, dystopian. Is also known for very striking environment, very, very immersive, very detailed. I think from what I've read, it also used photogeometry capture. And it's super impressive on the PlayStation 5. For me, Expedition 33 was more attractive in this aspect because of this kind of Belle Epoque inspired, fantastical, painterly type of art style. I mean, I've seen games that do it maybe even too much, like No Rest for the Wicked, where it just looks even too abstract when you look at it a bit from far. Sometimes it's even hard to see the details. Here it's beautifully artistic, that actually felt like something new. Again, another layer of things in the game in Expedition 33 that makes the game feel so refreshing and new. It also connects everything together when it comes, of course, to the era, when it comes to the story. It's just a perfect fit and it's there for a reason. This is, of course, a main reason why it's actually like that and really tied to the story, which, of course, I'm not going to spoil it here. So even further make it really impressive in that aspect. But I can't deny that what was achieved here on the PlayStation 5 with Death Stranding when it comes to photorealism is just mind-blowing, beautiful, and a really great achievement on the PlayStation 5. Even on performance, it looks incredible. So in terms of art style and graphics, I'll give it a tie. I think each one just did an amazing good job, each one in their own perspective. In terms of story, it can be a bit more difficult. I was very hooked with Expedition 33 story. I think it's very emotional. It has very deep character-focused story. It talks about grief, memory, legacy. By mentioning legacy, I mean the kind of importance of a memory and leaving a legacy in the face of oblivion. Also at the beginning, straight from the beginning, you're already connected with it because there's a mystery about the surrounding the paintress and the nature of the gommage. It's so well crafted into the game at the beginning of the game that it just carries you throughout, but it's very, very strong straight from the beginning. The question, the mystery is always there like a cloud around you when you play the game. You just want to know what's happening. However, there was a narrative shift that I think in Act 3, where it kind of pivots from the expedition's fight for humanity to a more intimate family drama about grief and escapism. So I think those who kind of expected something more on a grand scheme might be disappointed at that point. However, in my opinion, even that, when you get to that part, and of course I won't put spoilers here, there's also something very interesting and intriguing when it comes to decision making. And a moral choice, which, well, you'll see. Anyway, it's very interesting as well. I wasn't actually disappointed. Actually, having both of them existing in the game actually, I think, just made it better. You might feel kind of ethically unsettled, but I think that's one of the part of the decision making in that game. And Death Stranding 2, well, it's a different thing. Kojima's storytelling is usually grand and philosophical and often intentionally, well, kind of encrypted and hard to decipher. But it's always ambitious. It tackles massive themes of isolation, connection, the nature of human evolution, grief, the nature of reality, and the existential dread of extinction. So I can tell you that actually I cried in both games. And of course, it's rarely happened to me when I get to that point. So both actually impact me emotionally. But I think when it comes to visual, the way that it's actually presented in the game in Death Stranding 2 is just the cutscenes are just amazing. Some people might not like it. I mean, I heard about it. I personally really liked it, but it's just meticulously crafted. It features incredible facial animations, wall details, character animations are amazing, and often kind of even combined with some surreal imagery that complements the narrative theme. But at the same time, I cannot ignore there was time with some emotional detachment from the story in Death Stranding 2. But there is some really good acting. But when it comes to Sam and Fragile, I just found it they're too disconnected emotionally. In some point, it doesn't really seem to me natural. So if I take everything into account, I think both are great, but I would give my vote to Expedition 33. And I think what actually closed it for me is just the decision close to the end of the game. But for me, it was very deep. And once I understood everything, it kind of went back in my mind and go over all the different things I experienced in the game from the characters. It was really great closure for everything. And it just done so beautifully. And you know, well, I can't tell you that much, but I don't want to spoil, but it was amazing. It's like the moment like, oh, now I understand. Now I understand. The moment you actually side with one character, you immediately think like, oh, what am I actually doing? And then you just kind of, depends on you, of course, but I shifted to another side. It was amazing. And getting to the point where you have this decision and you understand things, this is just so rare in video games. So well done to Central Interactive for doing something so special like that. And therefore, I understand the turnovers in Act 3 and other things because they wanted really to get you kind of an emotional shift in the story and get to a point where everything just strikes so hard with a certain decision that you're going to make at the end of the game. Amazing. When it comes to voice acting, I'm talking about motion capture and voice acting, just voice acting. For me, it will go to Expedition 33, especially the English version. I also like the French one, by the way. I shall share a video about that. But I don't know, it just drew me in. The voice acting is incredible. It's so good that it feels like, you know, music to your ears. I don't know how to say it. But it's not just the sound, right? It's the acting through the voice itself. But when I look at Death Stranding 2, I mean, Higgs' cutscene, which played by Troy Baker, was insane. And Tarman voice acting, it was amazing as well. So I shift back and through, and yeah, because I can still remember Andy Serkis as Renoir. I mean, wow. Ben Starr is Verso. And my favorite, Jennifer English as Mael. And of course, we can't forget also Kirsty Ryder as Luna and Shella Nix as Ciel. But come on. And there's so really powerful lines, especially the little lines, those when you are in the camp and you talk with Mael, and these little subtle tones of voice, just little talks. It was so special in Expedition 33. So it was always kind of over the top. Of course, there are moments like that as well in Expedition 33. But eventually, when I take everything into account, for me, voice acting goes to Expedition 33. It wasn't an easy decision, but in terms of the frequency that it goes through the emotions, the subtle and the stronger ones, I think that Clair Obscur Expedition 33 just covered it all. And of course, also the little interactions in the camp, that you have so many of those. And of course, other characters like Esquier, the voice of the Gestrals, also the kind of invented language they invented for some of the characters. If I take everything into account, it goes to Expedition 33, in my opinion. Alright, sound design. Well, this is a tough one. First of all, let's talk about Death Stranding 2. It's very even fresh in my mind. There's so many beautiful tracks. They're actually, some of them dynamic. They also injected really well in certain parts of the game that really elevate the moment that you do something. I won't dive into it here, but there are some moments that just kind of injected into the game and just so complement the beautiful moment. Traversing through the terrain and listening to music, you also have the option to just choose the track and play it yourself if you are in the chiral network. Also, the cinematic sound design is incredible. Every sound effect that you hear in the game, even the rain and the wind, and everything just done so perfectly. And I experienced it with the Sennheiser, my Sennheiser headphones, and it just sounds so heavenly, so beautiful. It's super important because, again, it just connects so well with the high photorealism of the game. The immersion is just off the roof. However, the orchestral score in Expedition 33, the original soundtrack, is like no other. Whether it's in boss fights or in other parts of the game, I'm still listening to Clair Obscur Expedition 33 original soundtrack right now because I just enjoy so much. It's amazing how so many of these original soundtrack I like. It's just incredible how good they are. Like Lumiere and Alicia, Gustave, Rain from the Ground, Monaco, Renoir. I listen to them every single day. I'm not exaggerating. I'm listening to them every single day after finishing playing the game. For me, the soundtrack of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 just lives beyond the game itself. It's composed by Laurent Testard and features Alice Dupont-Percier, and consists of, listen to that, 154 songs that's lasting over 8 hours. All designed for this particular game, and so many of them are just beyond belief beautiful. So my vote goes to Expedition 33. Even by saying that, I'm emotional because I was so connected to the soundtrack of that game. Alright, let's move on. Well, replayability? Alright, so this is also something that was hard for me. Because with Death Stranding 2, I really love that the replay value for me come from helping others. We have more time and have more resources to help others make their life easier in the game and just help them, achieve their goals. The thing is that the co-op, of course, is not direct, but still, you have, of course, the likes, which the likes is just a kind of positive, you know that you're doing something that people actually found useful, right? It's not that I need a like for the sake of likes. It's just a good positive reassurance of something that you know that you're actually doing well, and you say, all right, that actually was a good thing, because they can't actually tell you that only by communicating with you with the likes. Or when you see they're actually using for example, a road you created, but still you're going to get likes for that. But you're going to see if somebody actually used it. So yeah, and both of them. And that particular thing led me to play more because it really, first of all, there's something that you unlock after you finish the campaign. But that part was special compared to any other game, any other experience. And this by itself is something special and it needs to be recognized. And I really like games that bring something else. Because playing the same, and I play many games, as you see on my channel, but playing it again and again, things that are similar, it kind of loses its magic at some point. So seeing something like that actually available in the game, and I discovered it after playing, I wasn't aware of it myself, felt truly, truly special. But at the same time, I cannot ignore the fact that I play, I think, like 5 times in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, because the gameplay itself, the game loop was so addicting. So though there's a big highlight for me with Death Stranding 2, and it should be highly recognized, in terms of replay value, I would give my vote to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, what I like about games like that is also exploration, being able to enjoy traversing through the world. What surprises are waiting for me to discover? How the game feels rewarding in that aspect. And I can tell you that when it comes to Death Stranding 2, the fun comes with basically the survival element part, the physics-based survival part of the game, where you're actually always on your toe when you actually explore the world. Some people mention it's a walking simulator. By the way, if you already call it walking simulator, you can just call it hiking or off-road simulator, it'd be even more precise. But of course, it's not that. I'm just saying as a joke. But it's more precise saying that than just a walking simulator. But that aside, it's actually, again, as much as I enjoy the views and it feels so cinematic and beautiful, immersive, and atmospheric, it's kind of background. It didn't feel that, for me, in terms of exploration, I felt actually disappointed. I think they could have done more dynamic things in the game to make it even more exciting to play. So in that aspect, I actually said that I was disappointed, and this is why, again, and Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is exactly the opposite of that. It's not like I play better games when it comes to exploration, but it doesn't feel rewarding. There are some off the beaten path secrets, not a lot. I mean, it's not like you can get lost like in Elden Ring. Elden Ring is like the top of when it comes to exploration. Like, this is like the best of the best. There are some gated areas that you need to find a way to get in. Some of the lore is built through discovery. There are really beautifully, visually distinct and evocative environments. You have this sense of wonder and mystery all the time. And that alongside other characters, side content, relationship, and so on, It's just embedded so beautifully in the game and also contribute to really fun and enjoying the exploration in the game. There are also some optional areas in the game that also very rewarding as well. And overall, again, yeah, this for me is a pretty easy one. I'm going to give it to Expedition 33. Now, gameplay. At the end of the day, we play games to play games. Well, most of the time, right? And this is, well, this is also was hard for me. Death Stranding combines so many things that I love. The combat, although wasn't really, I see it as a great or a main thing in the game, it was good, but not great. I actually prefer the stealth option, which is also available in the game, which I really liked. And there are lots of items for you to kind of find. By the way, in terms of unlocking, there are lots of things you can actually unlock. Well, it takes time, of course, for deliveries. And you can actually use it in combat, and some really creative ways you can actually use that. But most of the time, the focus is on deliveries, on the survival, traversal, physics-based part, whether you're going to do it with a vehicle or whether you're going to do it by foot or with some other means. There are also other means to do that. It's enjoyable. On normal difficulty, which I play, I wouldn't call anything that I've done challenging. It was actually more like a walk in the park, to be honest. And this, again, is something that I expect normal to be, well, normal, to probably some degree of challenge, but there isn't. The game is just not challenging by default or normal. So I kind of miss, the peaks, something that, just give me, I'm getting all these items, something, I need to be able to use them and gain some advantages, given a higher level weapon or something, or, or an item that for traversal, it needs to be very meaningful. So I would say it's more meaningful for traversal. Of course, the ability to just create your own, for example, ways to make it easier for you to traverse, like creating bridges, for example, and roads, gain resources, and that makes the traversal easier. Although it is challenging to a degree, it's not super challenging once you get it, even traversing through the terrain. And some difficulty needs to be there. Otherwise, why you actually enjoy unlocking more stuff if they not really contribute to anything that give you kind of an advantage or help you out? That's the whole idea, helping out. Especially when you create things, you want to help others to make it easier for them. But when things in general are kind of relatively easy, you don't feel like you are, your contribution is that impactful. That's what I'm trying to say. But I would also say that the game is more, for me, was an emotional ride rather than something that I wanted to get the best of the gameplay experience from a great challenge. But it feels like if you're already putting it there, or you're putting like a huge BT, make it even by default more challenging. Come on. Again, with all the respect to everything else in the game. But the part that I like, the cooperative, non-direct cooperation in the traversal was really special, and there are some really magical moments doing that. This is, by the way, true, especially at the beginning, when you don't get really lots of items. Actually, the top was at the beginning, where it was actually harder and pay attention to in scanning every single place. After that, I really didn't care, because traversal just becomes so trivial. And I think in some part, it's actually lost its magic as you progress, rather than becoming, I don't know, more special, if you get my drift. And I would say that Expedition 33 is just so much more into it. First of all, let's put the challenge aside. Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is a challenging game. By default, it's a challenging game. The fact that you have the mechanics for you need to avoid, and it's kind of Souls-like mechanic, it's there, and it makes things quite difficult, and some of the bosses are very challenging. Now, there are two different games. One is kind of more focused on combat and strategic and tactical play, and the other one is more kind of focused on cooperative game, helping others, and enjoy traversing through rough terrain and be able to deliver things one place to another. It puts more emphasis on the narrative and the human connection. And the ways to actually connect with that is not just having just action on the screen. It's just those special moments, those little, sometimes very quiet moments that give you that enlightenment. It's like the continuous process that we have in real life, right? Where we don't have like something like sometimes extraordinary. Those little things. And I actually realized in many places that I've been that those little things are the ones that I enjoy the most. Sometimes they told me, what do you enjoy, for example, being like in Porto for several months? I told them this is the moment, waking up in the morning, it's a bit cold, going to the coffee shop, sitting down, and just drinking an espresso. It's kind of sound maybe silly for some, but there are some things that you realize that there are those little things in life are so special. Once you move all the entire noise and other things that can interfere with, help you understand how important is the connection between people, enjoy the little things, listen to the wind, enjoy the view. Those things are not less important or special than other things, over the top ones that sometimes we get addicted to. And this is a strong message gameplay wise, so it shouldn't be ignored. But I would say, considering that, as a whole, I enjoy the gameplay loop of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 better. So you see, even until now, you see votes going to Expedition 33, but it's important to know that although I choose one here, it doesn't mean that there are not amazing moments for the other game. So keep this in mind. But when you take, for example, things in Clair Obscur Expedition 33, like the really cool combat system, what I really like is the precision parrying and dodging combat, the unique character specific combat mechanics, the impactful status effects and elemental stains, the extensive customization via the Pictus and Luminas, all many things that kind of, again, for what the game is, it's actually done amazingly well. Sometimes confusing, sometimes I think it could have done better in certain aspect of the game. Like sometimes there are so many Luminas just can get you crazy, just deciding which one to use and other things. But overall, if you take as a whole and just putting in there are differences between the two. Overall, in terms of gameplay experience, I would vote for Expedition 33. But I would say that, oh boy, I love the time traversing through the terrain, helping others in Death Stranding 2. It was amazing. Now, usually when I play games, there's also what's left after I finish playing the game. The impact that the game had on me, how much I actually think about the game when I actually play it, and what comes after I finish playing the game. And I ask myself how, again, a game coming from a relatively small company, Standful Interactive, with their game Clair Obscur Expedition 33, can basically achieve the same level of mainstream cultural penetration, same as Kojima title, I would say titles were able to achieve. And I think this is the magic that I think because of that kind of Cinderella story, because it comes from a relatively small studio, around 30 people, but of course some things outsourced to other companies. I read, for example, things related to animation in Korea. So the thing is that in terms of impact, and if you take the delta, right, from considering what I've said here, I would say that in terms of impact, Standful Interactive had the most impact, and we've seen it by the reception of players, by the user aggregated rating on Metacritic, the overwhelming positive reaction to the game, of course, after it was released. Both from, by the way, the result both from the media and from players alike. There's a chance here this will turn out into a classic. It will form to a classic. This game will be remembered for years to come. This game will be inspired so many other games. It will age well like wine. This is going to be something so like a painting, like an art in a museum. So in terms of impact, I still think that Clair Obscur Expedition 33 had a stronger impact when you take that in things that I mentioned here into account. Now let's look cinematics. I know this is controversial. Some people didn't like the cinematics. I adore them. I love them. I actually thought they're sometimes so funny, so meme sometimes, but so beautiful. I mean, in terms of visual fidelity, I mean, the only place I actually see something as good as this is usually from Blizzard. It's just so good. But in terms of emotional impact, oh, come on. Tomorrow Comes. Renoir cutscene before the battle. The opening cutscene in the Expedition 33 at the beginning with the Gomage. I mean, I was staring and the game even hasn't started yet. What's happening? And Verso, oh my god, at the end, Verso, it was so powerful. And there's some other powerful lines from other characters as well. And sometimes it doesn't need to be over the top. It's a small thing in the cutscenes in the camp with Mael, for example. The delivery is so strong that you don't need really to have like over the top visual quality to really get that impact. What can I say? That again, I like both, but come on, Tomorrow Comes. So what can I say? Well, I know it looks weird when you see it now aggregated on the screen, everything here. But that's how it is, and I explain myself. And as I told you, I play both, of course, and I played quite a lot. I put like I'm close to 80 hours in Death Stranding 2, and of course a lot more, by the way, but because I played it a lot. And Clair Obscur Expedition 33, like I find 5 times, I think 6 times I played the game. Although I'm still playing Death Stranding 2, just so you know. But when I need to decide just one, which one will win in each category, it doesn't mean that the other one was terrible, of course not. As you can see, I told you. There's so many great things I love about Death Stranding 2, I actually adore. But at the end, in all these categories that I mentioned here, Expedition 33, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 takes the win. And it's all, now you understand why I gave my vote would go for Clair Obscur Expedition 33 in the Game Awards for sure, the best game. And of course in other categories as well, but it's just my take after playing both quite a lot. I like both game a lot. I repeat, I love both game a lot. But Clair Obscur Expedition 33 is just like no other. Thanks for watching.